Okay, so this is Robert with Blue Planet Surf, and I wanted to go over our stand-up paddle core trainer a little bit more. We have different packages available, but this is kind of less expensive aluminum paddle version. It comes with a 3-piece paddle, so you can use it as a regular paddle, and then you can take it apart or take off the blade part, and then use the top of the shaft as your training shaft. So just a couple of things. I've watched some videos of my customers using our paddle core trainers, and I wanted to go over a couple of technique tips on how to properly use it. So you attach the elastic cord to the paddle shaft, and then it has a door anchor, and the easiest way is just to put it on a door, and you just open the door, and I like to put it kind of in the middle of the door. It seems intuitive to put it at the bottom, because when you're pulling on the paddle, it's kind of you're pulling through the water, but actually what you're doing in your stroke is you're kind of pushing down on the paddle a little bit. So that's why I've been putting it up a little bit higher, like in the middle of the door, so you get that that effect of lifting. Kind of feels a little bit like you're lifting up on it. So, and you want to stand where the paddle, if you hold it close to your head, where it's at least 45 degrees away from you, or a little bit more, like a little bit steeper angle. And when you're switching hands, try to switch it with the handle. Instead of switching it on the shaft like you usually do, switch it on the handle, so you don't risk, if you let go of it up here, you can risk having it hit your face. So the better way to switch sides is with switching the handle. So once you find a good place good distance from the door, you put your balance board down, and the balance board, the idea behind the balance board is it should be fairly easy to balance. It's not very hard to balance on this balance board, but that's it's kind of a similar feel to a stand-up board. You have to balance and keep it level. That's the whole idea, keeping your weight over the center of the board. So instead of leaning on one foot when you're doing it the whole time, this one kind of reminds you to keep your weight balanced between both feet, and then that way it also teaches you a little bit about the proper technique. And another thing I see a lot of people do is just pull their paddle too far back, trying to twist way too back here. So try to remember, to practice proper technique, you want to keep the stroke in the front, and so stop when you get to your feet, stop and bring it back forward again. So keep the stroke forward and try to have good technique. Keep the paddle straight up and down. Don't have it at it diagonally like this. You want the paddle straight up and down, and then try to get a good amount of reach. Try to twist your upper body. Use that twist. Straighten your bottom arm. Get a good amount of reach, and then use that twist. You can also use some leaning into it and pushing with the top arm. But try to practice good technique when you're using the paddle core trainer. So it's not just about working out and exercising, but also trying to work on having good technique, because that'll help you in the water. Yep. Okay, so another thing that might be helpful to watch yourself on your technique is you can either video yourself, take some video footage of yourself using the paddle core trainer, or set up a mirror in front of you so you can watch your technique, and especially pay attention to getting the paddle straight up and down, so that when you're in the water, you're propelling yourself forward and not doing like a steering stroke diagonally. So really focus on getting that paddle straight up and down, which means you have to stack your shoulders and bring your hip out to the opposite side so that you stay balanced on the balance board. So, and then on the return, don't bring your paddle way out to the side. You want to kind of bring it back almost in a straight line. And obviously with the rubber band, you have a little bit of resistance going both directions. So usually on the recovery, when you're paddling the recovery, you don't have any resistance. So it's a little bit like doing a reverse power phase on the recovery. And then also still practice twisting the paddle when you're recovering for the feathering. So you twist the top hand during the recovery. So those are just some small things that you can do to make it a more realistic workout and more realistic practice for stand-up paddling in the water. All right, so the paddle core trainer comes complete with everything you need. It has our custom-made balance board that we hand make these here in Hawaii because there's nothing available like this on the market. Fairly easy to balance on. Has EVA pads, kind of like a real stand-up board has. Makes it nice and grippy. Comes with a complete 3-piece paddle, and there's different options on the paddles that can be used as a regular stand-up paddle or as your paddle core trainer paddle. Comes with several different resistance bands for different resistance. You can a door anchor that you can attach to any door, or also a couple different loops that you can attach to other attachment points. And it has these handle grips, so you can also use your resistance bands for all kinds of different exercises. So you can do, pretty much any kind of muscle group in your body you can work out with this set. So it's a fairly compact set. It all ships in a fairly small box. Comes with a DVD that has some stand-up paddle technique tips on it as well. And that's the paddle core trainer package. Thanks for listening.